Welcome everybody. We really appreciate you coming this evening. My name is Dr. Timothy Gallagher.
I'm Dr. Michael Marciello.
And you're here at our practice, Maragal Medical. We're super excited to talk to you this evening because tonight we're officially launching our medical weight loss lifestyle medicine division of our physical medicine practice, which is called NutriHealth Lifestyle Medicine. So a lot of familiar faces this evening. And some new faces too. So I just want to spend a few minutes in giving you a little bit of background about our medical practice. It was officially started 25 years ago, actually, as a chiropractic practice. That's my area of expertise and specialty. I always joke and say with great appreciation and love, I met the girl of my dreams about 2 years into my practice, my wife, Colleen. She's our physical therapist, and we had this vision that at some point we would have a clinic which combined both chiropractic treatment, physical therapy, and medical care all under one roof. And 5 years ago, I hit the lottery again. I met my partner here, Dr. Marciello. Dr. Marciello is our medical director, and he's a physiatrist. That's a medical doctor that specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation. And what we do here in our clinic is we focus in on patients that are suffering from joint pain, usually due to chronic arthritis, or more complex conditions like neuropathy. But Dr. Mike, you can attest too, and we've been together for 5 years now, the missing piece has always been that medical weight loss component, because I think all of you can understand if you're practicing medicine and you're specializing in treating patients with arthritis and joint pain, and if you're overweight or if you're suffering from chronic inflammation, then that's a problem. We needed to find a solution to add on a medical weight loss lifestyle medicine component. And we searched kind of high and low. We spent a lot of time looking at different plans to bring onto the practice.
No, we did. My focus has always been health and wellness and concept of aspects of bringing ways in which we can kind of keep the chronic inflammatory processes and the chronic degenerative diseases that go along with it under control. And you get frustrated. It's like, oh, if this person could do this and this, but why can't we do it all? And that was the whole concept that we needed something that incorporates a little bit of everything, but also so we could target, again, the aspects of chronic disease, chronic inflammation, which incorporates a lot of eating and food, and being overweight is, one big factor. And it's not just the only factor, it's just one of many factors. We just need to make sure that we're able to address it, and now here we are trying to find ways that we can help take care of our patients.
Yeah, and one of the big things that we do in our clinic is we always tell patients, we look at you from head to toe. But now we are able to offer complete care, not just head to toe, but inside and out. And diet and nutrition is such a key component to this, right?
It is. And so as I pursued this whole concept of, health and wellness with Dr. Tim, I started getting much more involved with nutrition, and took a couple graduate programs, a certificate in nutrition, and how to integrate nutrition with understanding of what that means in relation to taking care of people for their health, and not just say, oh, this is a diet program. No, this is a kind of a health and wellness program. So nutrition plays a huge role when we start looking at that.
Yeah, because folks, when it comes down to it, right, all we want to do is two things, right? We want to eat and we want to lose weight, right? But what does everybody really want, and what are your goals? Wouldn't it be great to wake up in the morning without joint pain? Wouldn't it be great to have tons of energy and not get totally exhausted midday? Wouldn't it be great to reduce your medication by 50%, for those of you that are on medication? And wouldn't it be great to lose 15, 20, or even 30 pounds in 1 month? And I know there are a lot of diet plans out there, and just quick survey, who here has ever been on a diet before? Right, we all have, right? And who has had positive results, but then, kind of got back into their regular routine? We all have, right? So really the key is being able to maintain for a lifetime. But the chips are stacked up against us here in the United States, because the sad reality is in the United States, there are 70 million big people. Over 30% of the population, the adult population, is overweight, and over 40% of the adult population is obese. And Dr. Mike, that's what I'm saying, where the chips are stacked up against us. That's 2/3 of the American adult population is either overweight or obese. And it just goes back to, you know, all of the dietary and fast food and all the problems that we're seeing in society now.
It's American culture. It's aspects of ways that we look about. We had another slide to show that, again, aspects of the American culture different from the world culture is very different in relation to why we as American are more overweight than others, and part of that is the processing food and the whole aspects of the way that's ultra processed and just supersizing it and things. And we have to recognize that, you know, this is disease in a sense of the obesity aspect is an epidemic, but it's a chronic disease process. It's not like, you know, people just say, you know, you just ate too much, you just got to stop and, you know, push it. It's not that way. It is a chronic disease, but it's influenced by American culture, and that's where the problem is that we're not in the right culture for, you know, for these problems, and then we're just going to continue to perpetuate chronic disease if we don't control the eating culture.
Yeah, and we see it with just heart attack on heart deaths in the U.S. Somebody dies every 34 seconds. We all know somebody that has had cardiovascular issues, and we've all known somebody that has been diagnosed with cancer or even passed away from cancer. Over 1,600 people die every day from cancer, and close to, you know, over 5,000 people are newly diagnosed from cancer. And it all comes down to what we're taking in, correct?
Yeah, and it's chronic inflammation. So that aspects of what we're taking in, if we're not getting rid of it, you know, we're going to have more disease processes.
Right, and like we said, we love being #1 here in the U.S., right? But this statistic is not where we want to be #1. We don't want to be the heaviest country on the planet. And that's where we are, and that's where things need to change. And there's a direct cause and effect, and it doesn't have to take a lot of increase in weight. If you just have an increase in 15 pounds, you're gonna double your risk of type 2 diabetes. If you just have a 22-pound increase in weight, you're gonna increase your heart attack risk by 75%. And if you're obese, so that's medically a BMI of 30 or above, right?
Right, and then there's now classes of that, you know, excessive obesity, and again, BMI gets higher and higher, so we have to kind of even subcategorize people.
You know, it doubles the risk of heart failure and triples the risk of breast cancer in women. And there's an economic impact to that, right? So if you're diagnosed with diabetes, count on coughing up over $1,100 extra per year just to take care of the healthcare needed, the medications, the copays associated with diabetes. Coronary artery disease, hardening of the arteries, count on coughing up another $2,000 in health-related costs. If you've had heart failure, that's another $5,000. And if you're obese, BMI of over 30, that's an extra $10,000 in associated healthcare costs. And that's staggering.
It is staggering.
So one of the challenges is that everybody faces, and I personally went through this challenge too, you know, exercising. And I went on a big tear the last few years, wanted to really, you know, acknowledge my 50th birthday, which was last year, and get back into shape. So I figured I would try to see how many days I could work out in a row. And I kept going and I kept going. But when I got on the scale recently, I realized that I was at my heaviest weight I've ever been. And that was just so frustrating for me. Why does that happen?
I mean, there's a lot of factors, of course, but exercise is not the answer. Nutrition plays a big role, but it's this type of exercise also that makes a big difference. So if you're doing this regularly and you're exercising every day, you've come to this new state of equality. I mean, you're not burning any more calories than normal. What you're eating is kind of keeping it the same. You're not going to lose weight because you're exercising every day, because it's the same amount of activity. Right. You would gain a heck of a lot of weight really quickly if you didn't now exercise every day, because of course, why? because the amount of energy expended is less.
Right.
So you're at more risk of actually gaining more weight unless you keep up with the daily exercise routine. So we know sustainability to keeping weight off is exercise, but you got to get there first. So it's not the exercise to start.
And folks, when we're talking about weight loss, one of the biggest challenges with weight loss is just, you know, the way that it's delivered. And it's just not a medical weight loss program, right, Mike?
No, I never wanted this to be a weight loss program. We wanted it to be, again, health and wellness concept. So we really needed to look at a timeline. We want to get people to start on the right track. Lose weight is the way to start. That's a tiny percentage, as many people raise their hand. You know, we all lose weight and then we gain it back because our weights return to the baseline. But that's the starting point. We just can't lose it. We got to capture it. Once you lost the weight, now we got to keep it going. And that's where weight management comes into play, managing it for the long term, understanding education, and then getting into some lifestyle changes, really aspects of your family history, individualizing program, individualizing the concept of what's different about you versus the next person. What was different about your family? What's your goals? Not everyone's goal is the same thing. So that's what keeps it away. You may gain back a few pounds, if that's the case, people okay. But we don't want to do the yo-yo. We don't want to go back and forth. And that's the key. Again, lifestyle is not just, oh, diet and exercise. It's like, no, exercise for sure, but there's no more dieting involved. I don't want people to keep dieting. We shouldn't be dieting every day or all the time. We need to be living. And that's what we're really going to think about the long term. It's lifestyle components for the longevity.
And what we look at is taking a patient and evaluating the patient medically, and then making sure we're following up with the patient for a lifetime. Because the patients that go through this program, they're going to be patients of ours for the rest of their lives, right?
And that's the key. You know, we're here, your patients are still here, you know, we're going to be able to see you continuously. You know, we check back in for various reasons, and it's not just, again, about weight, it's about your health. And that's why, again, it makes a much difference. We can stay with you.
And one of the biggest challenges is things, you know, pop up into your life too, but as you age, your metabolism changes as well, right?
Metabolism, I mean, everyone's heard that word thrown out, you know, what is metabolism? Really, it's our body's capability and ability to burn fuel and energy. So we metabolize things. We take food in, metabolizes it to have energy. Well, the question is, do we need as much energy, and what type of metabolism is there? Well, it depends on what you eat. It also depends on what your body composition is. If you have a lot of muscle, you burn more energy. We want to gain strength in the sense of being able to change your metabolism. If we change the food we eat, our bacteria, so-called microbiome, you'll be hearing those words now been used a little bit more in the public. The microbiome is going to change the aspects of how we metabolize and break down food. That's going to keep it away. So we have to think about all those factors of what we think about in metabolism.
Yeah, and you know, there's two big questions that you should be asking is, can you help me lose weight, and then can you help me keep it off? And the answer to that is a resounding yes, because our plan is absolutely different. And I know most of you here that have been through a diet plan before, you've heard that before, but the components of this plan, and we really looked at, you know, different options for a couple of years, and Dr. Marciello spent a lot of time in his postdoctoral work with medical weight loss, lifestyle medicine, and we really found a plan that, number one, is easy for our patients to implement and to maintain. But it doesn't just start with a plan, it really consists of the additional follow-up. So with our plan, what we do is we look at an acceptable, healthy body fat percentage. So for men, that's about 20% body fat. So that's the guy right in the middle on the top screen. For women, it's 25%. That's in the middle and just to the right. And we use that as the baseline to try to figure out, okay, we have a patient coming in, they weigh this much, their body percentage, body fat percentage is at this much. How much weight do we need to lose to get them down to a healthy body fat percentage? And what we do and the way we calculate it is we use a fancy scale. It's called the Tanita scale to accurately measure that, so that when you're coming in and we have the follow-up, we can kind of look at, because oftentimes, Dr. Mike, you know, patients that come in, I'm included as well, you get all excited to work out and lose weight, and immediately you think back to when you were in your 20s and you're like, Yes, I want to be a waist size 31. I want to weigh 165 pounds, but oftentimes that's just not attainable depending on where you are in life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so the concept is really healthy weight versus a happy weight, and we want to try to, again, put the goals together to get you more of a healthy weight, but that happy weight is still appropriate. So again, you don't need to be at 31, maybe 33, or maybe just, my body composition has changed because I've lost the fat, but I need to gain the muscle. So that is really where we're looking at individuals.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do is we simplify things. So I'll talk to you about the plan. It's really easy to follow. The first phase of the plan, we're just really working with you to increase your hydration, your water intake. Most of the population is dehydrated. A large percentage of the population is constipated, and making sure that you're taking in enough water to accommodate that is definitely key. You really should be taking in half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you just do a quick calculation in your head, immediately, that's a lot of water, and we measure it too in the water bottles that I carry around as well. It's a big deal, so we want to first get the patient used to taking in the appropriate hydration, right?
Plain old simple start, just follow some instructions, get the water, get the hydration going.
Yeah, what we like is, we like an alkaline water. We use a filter just because we try to get your body's pH more back towards a neutral level. We're very acidic. The more acidic you are, the more difficult it is to lose the weight long term.
Our bodies will physiologically try to make those adjustments. It adjusts for these things, but if we can kind of shift it a little bit to the levels which we don't typically do, we're going to try. It's a just good way to get it in a sense of neutral. We're going to start from that baseline neutrality.
Then we go through a basic cleanse. This is not an intestinal cleanse. It's a cellular cleanse to make sure that we're prepping the body, much like you would prep a garden this time of year to get it ready. We need to prep your body because we are constantly exposed to toxins. There's toxins everywhere. It's simply unavoidable. There's toxins in our food, there's toxins in our water, there's toxins in the air that we breathe, there's toxins in the lotion that we put on our skin. Your body does a great job of protecting your vital organs from those toxins. Your fat encapsulates it and puts it like in a high security prison. But when it does that, it makes it very difficult to lose the fat, correct?
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to get it all to the point that there's good things there, get the good things in, the bad things out.
Yeah, and then the last phase, and what I love about this is really making sure that you're in a fat burning mode by using simple, easy, healthy food. This is food that you buy at your regular grocery store. There's no box food, there's no counting calories, and really exposing the patient to making sure they know how to eat healthy and what foods that they should be eating. Perfect example is when you go to the grocery store, the easiest thing is to stay in the perimeter of the store, right? That's where all the healthy food is.
Yeah, ultra-processed food, again, things that will have long shelf life, it tends to be the ones that are most problematic. So that's where we're going to say, not that it's bad to pick up food that is good on the shelf, but realities are the food that we want to primarily eat is more commonly in the perimeter.
Right. And resources too. So, coming to the office. So we do monthly follow-ups with our patients to make sure that they're on track with their goals. Coming in, we have the advantage too of having our medical director oversee it, because sometimes patients' health histories are very complex, like who's on medication? Is there anybody here on the room with medication? Medications are very acidic, and certain medications cause you to have a more difficult time of losing weight, correct?
Very common. So when we get to the individual state of aspects of looking at things, sometimes we need to make a recommendation, say, maybe we could change this medicine because, again, that's perhaps going to make you retain water or retain food, retain fat. But again, we have to look at all those factors. That is now outside the aspects of the diet plan, right? That's the weight management element, looking at the person's health, nutrition, diet, their ability to take in medications may be able to be reduced, but also maybe just be changed or get it mixed up.
Right. and then resources too. So weekly emails, so there's a live call-in. The program that we decided to go by is a program that we stumbled upon last year. A colleague of mine that practiced down in Charlottesville, Virginia. He's a chiropractor. His wife is a registered dietitian. And for the last 10 years, they actually put together this customizable plan to make sure that their patients were getting the best care possible. So there's weekly resources that our patients have access to. And one of the great things is a live call-in that everybody can have access to on Monday nights. Dr. Parajani Gatsamo is the plan's medical director. She's a naturopathic physician. She comes on every Monday night. There's a recording that you can listen to if you missed the call. She usually spends about 15 or 20 minutes talking about a variety of health topics. And then for the remaining time, the rest of the hour, you have the opportunity to ask all sorts of questions. So I forgot to introduce my sister-in-law, Stephanie, here. So Stephanie is going to be talking to you in a minute. She's our test patient that's gone through the plan, so she's going to give you some insight on that. And she and I have been listening to Dr. Parajani and the questions so that you can kind of guide yourself through the process. Because the plan itself is really simple, and it really follows the three pillars that we kind of look at: the physical aspects of the plan, the physiological aspects of the plan, and then the psychological aspects of the plan. So let's get to the nitty-gritty about the plan itself. So this is a simple to follow plan. I always joke too, if you can read and if you can follow instruction, you will be successful on this plan. It's all laid out for you. These are geared to keep inflammation away. What we use are fat-burning foods and supplements in the beginning of the plan. So these supplements assist us in terms of the detox. They help to balance out your hormones naturally and help to reduce your toxicity overall. And like I said, all of these foods are 100% natural. You can go buy them at whatever grocery store that you buy foods at. The physiological aspect of the plan, that's where it really is the differential between the other plans out there, because we really look at the patient's body chemistry, correct?
Correct. I mean, so that's an analogy that given we're prepping the garden, so we're preparing the aspects of taking the physiology of our body's capabilities to do it, get the right things. It's just going to reassess. Body's going to take care of it cellularly wise. That's the physiology. We all have the same physiology. We don't have all the same genetics. Our body will do the same thing like any other body's going to do, but there's a little difference. Who doesn't have as much, kind of calculation and changes in their cardiac status and their kidney status? And so those are the things we need to look at. But the physiology is the same. But we're going to need the right things to make it the feed of it to really process.
Yeah, and really just waking your body up to on a hormonal level, because oftentimes, there are certain hormones, and we've got a lot of them, hundreds of hormones that all interact together that play a role in this as well. But there's a hormone called leptin, and there are some other hormones. The most common in females are estrogen, progesterone. For males, testosterone. We all know what insulin is. We've all heard of insulin resistance, so that's with diabetes. But the hormone leptin, leptin we all have, and that's a fat-burning hormone. And it's been found that that hormone itself is oftentimes resistant and makes it very difficult for individuals to burn fat, correct?
It's correct, but there's so much physiology there as well, because the hormones are actually triggering our hunger state and our satiety state. So a person naturally wants to go back into their, unbeknownst to us, go to its kind of baseline. And these hormones are what's trying to drive the aspects neurologically, neurobiology-wise, to say, hey brain, I haven't eaten for a while. It tells the body to go eat. And that's where the hormones play a role with hunger and aspects of being satisfied. And we're trying to figure out why some people don't really work as well. And because sometimes the hormones either resistant, or you don't have the receptor that receives the hormone to act properly, so it doesn't shut off the hunger center. There's all kinds of genetic really odd things that go out there that people, just have these unsatisfied effects of just, they could eat and eat and eat and eat, and they never feel like they're full. And because their genetics are off, and because the leptin hormones in combination with other hormones just not working right. So there's a dysregulation. So we're going to try to tease that out among as much as we can without doing a lot of additional genetic testing, what have you. But we're going to try to reset this endocrine system if we can.
Yeah, and like I said too, toxicity is a big issue as well in terms of having successful weight loss. But the big key difference is the psychological side of things too. And when we're talking about the 3 pillars, that's one that's often neglected. And we have such an advantage here in our medical clinic because we can address those issues as well.
This is another area that I like a lot, is aspects of getting back into, again, what drives a person, where their goals are, what's their realities or not, what's their lifestyle, what's their aspects of, who's home, who's not home, what's, those type of things are the emotional eating, the triggers, the aspects of why we do things sometimes we don't really recognize. So we want to tease that out, and certainly that's getting back to, all right, we got to figure this out for a person. That's the sustainability, right? So you may follow the program, lose some weight, but all those other things taking place all the time, right there and then. We got to make sure we can address it.
Yeah, because the ultimate end goal is to complete everything, both the medical weight loss, the weight management, and the lifestyle medicine component, to make sure that this is successful and sustainable for each and every one of you. And it's that lifestyle component that you've experienced over the last 4 years with some of the postdoctoral work that you've done.
Yeah, I go back to the slide that we showed we're #1 and we have all those countries out there. Well, I'm an Italian guy, so my heritage is Italian. Italy is down 26. If we looked at that slide again, just think about, where's all the carbs? They must be eating a lot of carbs, those Italians, but it's culture. It's different. It's aspects of where they live and their culture. And Italy is much different than what we do here. So when we start thinking about lifestyle, we need to try to incorporate some of those better cultures that are not going to move to another country, but how do we live within the American culture, but yet still kind of fend it off from the food culture that we are all part of.
Yeah, and one of the things, and when we advertise for medical weight loss, it just goes to be said, this program is not about the medication to lose weight, okay? So we got a lot of inquiries, when we're talking about some of our existing patient base, but that's why it's great to have Dr. Marciello with us, because last weekend, he spent the weekend in New York City at a medical conference, specifically talking about Ozempic and Wegovy. And Dr. Mike, what did you learn?
I mean, if you've all heard about these medicines, there's another one that's out there as well that's kind of coming on. FDA just approved another one. It's called aspects of ways in which these medicines were designed to help people with diabetes. And we realized, they decrease some hunger, they decrease some of the appetite. So we actually got weight loss with them. So they're not a bad medicine. They're actually, the concept is though, you got to be on it forever. Now the question is, another medicine forever, there may be a trade-off, and the right person, the appropriate candidate to use these medicines are, could this person lose enough weight to control their diabetes with the medications to get off their diabetic medicines, get off their blood pressure medicine? That might be an appropriate person for that medicine or these medicines. The shortage that's out there you may have heard about is because people who are 5 pounds overweight and they're just paying for it. You want this medicine to give me weight loss, not the appropriate process. You need to be in the obesity category, the high BMIs. We want to try to focus on ways that we can do program to prevent needs for a lot of medications, and if we can avoid this one as well, we should try. Again, the appropriate candidate might be reasonable to consider. So we're not against it, but we're going to certainly do everything we can and try to help to get on program without needing more medicine.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, and you want to make sure that we always emphasize in our clinic getting to the root cause of the patient's problem. So we need to identify that, and we're in such a instant satisfaction society. We got to have it now, but some of the data is coming out now too, those patients that go on the Ozempic and then they come off of it, not only are they gaining the weight back, but they're going over, and their percent from muscle to body fat is increasing more into the fat side, correct?
A lot of people lose so much weight so quickly that they need that energy store. That's their metabolism. So their energy is then, how do I get energy if I've gotten loss of body composition? They're losing muscle as well. So we've got to change the behavior. We've got to change the person's ability to, okay, not rely on this medicine as the answer, but maybe something to hold them over. If a person goes on the medicine, comes off, yeah, they are, the rebound is what they call it, is enormous. But if we can minimize the concept of why the person may not have rebound is because they've done all these other things that are changing their lifestyle, we can try to hopefully sustain the weight loss without the need of medicine. And maybe a person's on it and gets rid of the blood pressure medicine first. That would be wonderful. But yet the goal is still to come down on the medications, because we need to change that behavior and get the body composition correct. Not just think about, okay, a pill's going to give the answer. So we want to get away from that concept.
Yeah, because in reality, food is medicine. And Dr. Mike says that all the time. It's just sometimes we got to figure out the combinations and what you've been doing for a period of time, your health history, and wrap that all in together. So as I said, I neglected to go through the proper introductions here. My lovely sister-in-law, Stephanie, she's a very special person to me. Stephanie's here this evening. So Stephanie's background in the clinic, you know, she's been working with me for a while now. She's our nurse. She's taken on the responsibility. We do a lot of cutting-edge treatments in our practice, as some of you know, in the form of regenerative medicine. She does a lot of our blood draws and our centrifuge preps for what's called a PRP injection. So we needed a test patient as we're going through and looking at protocol. And, you know, as the brother-in-law, you don't want to just come out to your sister-in-law and say, hey, Steph, you want to go on a diet? But Stephanie and I have, over the years, the two of us have had our own struggles in just trying to figure out something that we could put together and maintain. So when Mike and I vetted out the program and went through it, I did it successfully last year and had fantastic results. I asked Steph, you know, if she wouldn't mind just going through the protocol. She was awesome. She was like, absolutely, I love it. I'm going to go through it. So I thought it would be helpful. And Mike and I can talk to you, you know, all night about, you know, protocol and, you know, health history and medical management. Well, let's talk to a real patient. And if you wouldn't mind, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Yeah. So, yeah, I am the test dummy here. And yeah, I was like, by the time I had this conversation with Tim about starting this diet, I was like minutes away from asking my doctor about Ozempic, because I am that person. I had a fantastic metabolism all through my life. I could eat a large pizza with a giant cake and lose 5 pounds. And then I hit 30. And everything just kind of started slowing down. I'm like, okay, things are kind of stacking up here. I had 2 kids, kept a little bit of weight on with each of those kids, but just tried to exercise. I did a lot of exercise programs. I joined gyms, different things like that. And I was able to lose the weight with a lot of effort. But as soon as summer vacation hit, I was home with the kids and it came right back. It just wasn't sustaining. So now that I'm in my 40s. Yeah, okay, I'll say it.
Early 40s.
Yeah, early 40s. I noticed that I was getting mental fatigue, just feeling tired, to the point where I went to my doctor and I said, there's something wrong with me. I think I have a brain tumor or a thyroid cancer. There's something wrong here. I have coffee for breakfast and lunch to get me going, and I just can't make it through my day. I need a nap. She kind of said to me, all right, go through me. Tell me again, you know, about your lifestyle. Okay, I have 2 young kids. I work overnight shift as a nurse. That's what it is. And this has been 3 years. Every time I go to my physical, what's going on? I'm tired. I feel like I'm getting Alzheimer's. My brain isn't working. I have no energy. And now I'm down. I only work 2 nights a week. So I really don't think it's my schedule. it's your schedule. Goodbye, you know? There wasn't really any kind of like investigating into it. My thyroid's fine. All my labs came out fine. Everything was normal, but I was tired. I was fatigued. Now I'm gaining weight. I'm feeling bad about myself. Summer's coming and I'm looking at my bathing suit thinking, I don't want to be anywhere near you on my body. So I started the diet. Well, actually it's not a diet. It's more of a lifestyle. I went into it thinking, this is a lifestyle change for me. I'm going to feed my body what it needs to get to where I want. So started doing it. I'm such a foodie. He's talking about Italy and I'm thinking, yeah, I want to go to Italy and eat my way through that country. Yes, that's on my list of places to go. I love food and I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this. I love my desserts. I love my coffee with the sugar and the cream. But I'm doing this for myself. I made a decision, a commitment to do this for myself. Started with the water. That was good. I did my water intake, started incorporating foods. It's a little bit of a learning curve as far as what foods you're going to be shopping for at the grocery store, but I did it, and I kind of curtailed my meals a little bit differently from what I was feeding my kids, because I knew they weren't going to be eating Brussels sprouts and asparagus with every meal like I was. So I had success with that. And I bought one of those fancy scales that they were talking about, and I just kind of tracked. And as soon as I hit that fat burning stage, I'm losing weight. And it's motivating. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing this. Okay, I did have a birthday and Easter fall into that time zone.
Life happens.
Life happens. And they accommodate that. You can eat what you want. Yeah, you're going to gain a few pounds. But what you have for one meal one day doesn't dictate moving forward how it's going to be for you, because you can go back and continue on with the plan. With the products that you take with the diet, it helps with appetite and craving suppression.
Huge cravings. Yeah.
Really, like, it was sometimes a struggle for me to actually eat a meal because I was so not hungry. You know, your body is using its own fat stores. So with that, you're not feeling the hungry and the cravings. Because I was the girl, I'm making dinner and I'm eating the handful of M&Ms as I'm like stirring the pot, right? Am I getting fat? I don't know. So anyways, what I'm saying to you is I was able to have success with it, and I'm really excited because I really feel like anybody can have success with it if I can have success with it, because I know myself with the snacking, the late night snacking, the cravings, the sweets, and I am doing great. I have the energy. I go for long walks with my dog. We live by Mount Wachusett. I'm climbing the mountain. We're doing 4 miles and I feel good. No more napping, and I'm actually getting up in the morning and being, you know, functioning, and I feel really good. No coffee, and look at me, wide awake. You know, that was my biggest concern, was if I could manage to not do those things, and I'm doing it, and I'm feeling good, and I really just want to share it with everybody because I'm down 17 pounds since starting it just over a month ago. Yeah.
And was the plan difficult to follow? Like we supply you with a step-by-step manual, and we go through the coaching and sit you down and go over that. And when it was time to go to the grocery store, there's, you know, it's a limited list of different proteins, different vegetables, different fruits, and healthy fats. But it's definitely something sustainable that you can do. And what I found too is a nice education. You know, I have my doctorate, but sometimes you go through school and you get into private practice, and you know, you have kids and stress takes on. You tend to forget, you know, what you should be doing to eat healthy. And what I liked about it too is all of the foods that you can choose from, simple to get at the grocery store and simple to implement into your regular routine, right?
Yeah, it is good because they do give you a list of the foods that you can be eating. And then as you become more, you reach your goals, you start slowly introducing the foods back into your diet that, you know, you might miss, like, you know, cheeses and yogurts and things like that. So yeah, it is pretty simple. Basically, you just kind of get the foods. You're eating 3 ounces of protein, a cup of veggie, and a cup of fruit with each meal. And then
healthy fats and water.
Yeah, healthy fats and water. Yeah,
piece of
very easy. And it's, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I'm not a chef. I don't like to cook, but it's very simple. And I'm actually, you know, introducing new foods to my children too, so it's kind of an added benefit. You know, my youngest is eating asparagus. They don't like the smell of the Brussels sprouts so much, but just trying new seasonings and kind of just trying to be creative to keep myself going, interested in it. Hasn't been a problem at all.
Well, that's great, Steph. I really appreciate it. We're gonna have time, obviously. We're almost finished, but at the end to ask us or Stephanie any questions about the plan. And what we're trying to do is much like Steph was saying, she just wants to get the word out. And that's what we're trying to do for our patients. We know if we're having and running a physical medicine clinic, we want to make sure that our patients are healthy. So getting the word out is going to be key. So for everybody here, our gift to you is a free consultation. You can schedule that up at the front desk with myself. We can go over your health history. We can kind of review the plan itself. There's no obligation to go through that. Please take advantage of that. We're only going to be doing these launch seminars, these patient education seminars, only a handful of times, and then that's it. Then we're just incorporating it into our regular protocol. For those of you who are here tonight, take advantage of that. And if you do decide to do the plan, you get 50% off. We're never going to repeat that ever again. This is our thanks to you that have come tonight because you're interested in changing your life and changing your health. You know, as you age and you continue on, we want to try to help prevent, you know, chronic disease. We want you to live, you know, the best life you can live. We want you to have the same energy that Stephanie has as well. So definitely take advantage of that. And the only thing that we ask in exchange for that is just a video testimonial. And what I figured we'd do is in close, we talked to you about the program and why we selected this program, and the doctor and his wife that put together this program that we follow. We want your testimonial to look just like some of Dr. Francis's patients' testimonials.
I lost 38 pounds in 3 months. In about 1 to 2 weeks, I started to notice results. It was amazing. I had more energy, I was sleeping better, more fun with my kids because my frame of mind was in a better place. My jeans fit a whole lot better, and I was able to go down to some jeans that I hadn't worn since before I had my second baby.
My name is Brian Davis. I lost 73 pounds in 3.5 months, 114 pounds in 6 months, 138 pounds in 7 months on Dr. Francis' program. My confidence level is unbelievable. When I get dressed and put my clothes on, I feel confident and ready for the day. The pain is gone. I'm running. It's unbelievable. You can do it too.
Kathy. I've lost 120 pounds in 8 months on Dr. Francis's program. I started to notice results very quickly. I had a lot of fluid and that started going away. I tell all my friends this is dieting for dummies. Eat this, don't eat this. Follow the plan, you will get results. My self-confidence is here for the first time in forever, and I finally feel like I have a healthy
I'm Shauna. I've lost 56 pounds in 4 months on Dr. Francis's program. I noticed results in about 2 weeks. Some of the health benefits that I've noticed by being on Dr. Francis's program is 1, I can breathe better. 2, I can walk better. The best result that has happened to me so far is when I'm walking, my legs do not rub together.
I'm Dr. Kirk Childers.
And I'm Dr. Sandra Childers, and we've lost 148 pounds in just under 6 months on Dr. Francis's program. One of the benefits doing this as a couple is that we enjoy taking walks together now.
We just feel closer as a couple.
One of the best results so far is that I've been able to give away 11 bags of oversized clothes.
Follow the program and it'll work.
My name is Roger Daly. I've lost 157 pounds in 7 months on Dr. Francis's program. The last time I was this size was about 3 years out of high school. I've actually had coworkers not recognize me. People I worked with years ago, last year even, and they walked right past me. I no longer take blood pressure medicine. The only regret I have about this program is I didn't discover it 10 years sooner.
So use this as an opportunity to change your life. You know, we always talk to our patients about what their why is, what their motivation is. You know, our why is to bring a simple, easily implemented program that you can do on your own with some of the coaching that we'll provide you with and some of the medical guidance to change your life, to really get to the point to where you don't have those limitations, to avoid having costly surgeries, to avoid, you know, taking all of those medications for conditions that are completely preventable. Right, Dr. Mike?
Absolutely. I mean, my role certainly in the whole process is to say, we watch some of those testimonials and say, I can't walk, I have this bad knee. That's why we went into this. We wanted to think about, well, can we, one, prevent the knees from breaking down? Because if you have any early arthritis, we're going to slow it down and perhaps make it not get worse. But we may have to adapt. If you have to get in the pool, you have to go different exercise. So we're going to be able to try to incorporate those other medical conditions. And as Stephanie mentioned, okay, when we introduce back in the food and kind of get some of these things back, you may not be wanting the cheese back in because I may determine that you have a high cholesterol problem and that high fat content, saturated fat, is like, I'm going to keep you away from cheese forever, even though you may like it and come back in. But those are the type of things we want to look at in the long term, because that's what's going to make people better and healthier and happier, not just because you feel great just for that first 3 months, 4 months.
Right.
This program, no question, you lose weight. You follow it, very simplistically, you lose weight. Now the hard work becomes on how to keep it there, how to keep it off. And that's maybe the three ounces of protein needs to become 5 or 6 ounces of protein because we need to gain some muscle mass because you got surgery coming up with something else. We got knee arthritis. People need to recover and get more ability to put down good tissue. 3 ounces of protein may not be enough. We know that 30 grams of protein per serving is what's going to actually stimulate your body to produce muscle. If you're restricting, you're not going to get there. So I'm there to kind of look at that. All right, now let's do the hard work. You're 4 months in, you're 25 pounds down. Where are we going from here? Yeah. And that's what's nice about this. That's what's really good.
For the rest of your life, you're a member of our clinic forever. And that's the big difference with the plan. So again, I can't thank you enough for coming this evening. I hope you learned something. I hope you're excited. And more importantly, I hope you're ready to make a change. We're making this available to everybody. And we want to see the results, just like Stephanie has had, just like I've had, just like a ton of patients in our group have seen. It's easy. You can see Kelly after. You can simply schedule that completely free consultation where we'll go over the details of your plan and how we can implement it. And like we said, we're offering this for a short time for 50% off. We're here to answer any questions that you may have. Stephanie's here too. She's actively in the plan as well, so feel free to ask any of us any questions that you may have. And again, we really appreciate you coming.
In one of your things on social media, you had mentioned that part of this would be covered by insurance. What parts?
Yeah, so the medical examination. Okay. Yeah, so that's the big difference too in having this in a medical clinic, and my motivation for integrating medically the clinic is as a chiropractor, and I love my profession. I love what I do. I love the fact that the whole principles of chiropractic center around getting to the root cause of the patient's problem, right? But there are so many limitations on our scope of practice and what we can do, and we can only help a certain percentage of the population. Now that we're a medical clinic, it really opens the door to a whole list of other things. And in terms of the cost of the program, we make it very easy, particularly with the launch promotion, and we have the ability to spread that out over time to make it affordable into your budget. If we look at the comparisons that I showed up, the economic impact of diabetes, of heart disease, so it's less than that if you think about it. And once you go through the plan and you're finished and you're successful, you're still with us, right? So those follow-ups in the covered portion of the plan is medical follow-ups. It's just a medical exam, and we're fortunate to not just have a medical doctor that specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation, but Dr. Mike has done his postdoctoral work in weight management and obesity training, lifestyle medicine. He is a huge resource, and I always say I'm so lucky that we have him here in Leominster. He's a big resource, so that's the advantage.
Well, and again, you're talking about 50. What's the 50% off then if the insurance is covering?
Yep. So I'll give you the.
You don't have to give specific numbers because I know.
I can give you, because Mike and I talked about it. Everybody, wants to know how much it costs. So I'll be upfront. The normal pricing that we're going to have after the launch is it's a $3,000 charge that covers everything for 5 months. The launch price is half of that, so it's $1,500. Yep, we can spread that over. We have care credit options, so we can spread that over interest-free for 2 years. It's like $60 a month to go through your plan to make it affordable. And that's what we were trying to do. Like when we brought over regenerative medicine for our patients with arthritis, that's a non-covered service that is very expensive to perform, but we have resources to be able to make it affordable to our patients so that they can get the care. So I think that's why it took us a long time to actually find a plan, because the challenges that we were facing were a lot of the plans were super complicated. A lot of the plans were just too expensive to actually go through. And then when I met Dr. Francis and spoke with him and saw what he was able to do, I got excited. So I told Mike, I said, I found this great plan. I think it would be easy to implement into our practice, but more importantly, I think our patients would really benefit from it. So I'm going to try it. I had a lot of success with it. So we kind of looked at that as the starting point for it. And then with Dr. Mike's knowledge, particularly the lifestyle medicine component, that's where we can really refine it for our patients and really make a difference in our community to really make sure that we're getting the message out about being healthy.
Yeah, no, and that's part of it is the lifestyle. I lost 90 pounds next door.
Yeah,
I found it.
Yeah.
So I need it gone again so that Dr. Mike can help me. And the chiropractic part is huge too.
Yeah.
And people don't realize the value of it. I have bounced from chiropractors. In fact, when I went next door, I thought I was going to be working with you, so that was why I was excited. And then when it didn't happen, that's a whole long story.
Yeah.
But all those components are so important.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that, over that 5 months, all the supplements that you were talking about are covered.
Included.
Everything is covered.
Yep. Yeah, we wanted to make it very easy. So, and it's customizable, and we wanted to know, and the patients to know what the upfront costs were, so that you take care of that on the first visit, then we're done with it. There's no more discussion except for how to get you healthy and reach your goals.
Do those supplements follow you into lifestyle? So no, okay.
Nope.
Very short term. That's my goal.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like meal replacements for the long term. I don't like a ketogenic diet for the long term.
That's the problem I've had is since I lost that 90, I've lived on okay, I got to do this. I know how to do it now. I got to, and it's like no matter what I do, I keep falling back into, and I'm like, the nursing homes are not going to give me meal replacements. They will not provide them for me. I need to be able to eat real food.
That's why our timeline a little bit is just this program will help you lose weight. No question about it. You follow it, and we're looking at that first 12 weeks.
That's phase 1.
Yep, phase 1. Three months.
And again, I've lost weight on, I can't even tell you how many different programs.
We all have, right?
Right.
We all have.
It's not the losing the weight that's the issue. You support me to lose the weight, I'll get it off.
Yep.
But I need you when I'm done.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And that's what I really like to do. I mean, the manual has recipes, it has the instructions, it has ways to kind of follow, and that's the diet program. That's the initial stage of it. The living part of it, not the dying part of it, is the living part of it is the lifestyle. And that's what I like to do It's because I'm going to start looking at you. Don't tell me what you're eating today. How's your knee today? How's your back today? But those are things going to be also part of that evaluations to continue, because that has to be modified. What's your family history? I went into some of this, again, process of interest in nutrition. My entire family, yes, I joke about the Italians. I mean, we have an Italian family that I am the only one who's not diabetic in my entire family of 16, 18 people. Because they've all had heart disease and diabetes and who's lost limbs and who has diabetic retinopathy. And I've lost a lot of family members because of that. I had a little bit more knowledge. I went to med school, but that doesn't change the history. Right. But it shows that we can actually change the genetic aspects of what we're predisposed to by making these changes. That's not just saying, just push the food away. It just says this is a chronic illness that has to be addressed from your genetics and from how you actually approach society and help approach culture. So I don't eat what my family eats, because I don't want to be like the rest of my family who, has BMIs in their 35s and 40s. But that's what we really want to do to keep that. And now again, if it's too late that we can't, prevent you from having a knee replacement, we'll pursue the knee replacement if we have to, but we're going to do everything we can not to go that way if we don't have to. That's the key.
And the part is the recovery from the knee replacement will be a lot easier.
Without question.
With the support. Yeah.
And we got lots of other resources before that with regenerative medicine and the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
And we noticed, and I would love to do a study, we're looking to connect with another online company to start looking at the data that we, Dr. Manai and our practice feels that if we do a regenerative injection in your joint, in your knee or back, my gut impression is going to be more effective if you have anti-inflammatory processes of nutritional health. Because if you're still feeding the body with all these things that are flaming up the body, those regenerative injections aren't as, the food that you gave your plants is still not the right food for your grass to grow. And that's the key. So we need to just try to get it from both ends, and it'll help everything get better. And that's what's really nice about this, is it starts you, but that's just the beginning stage.
That's why we're excited. For the first time, we have resources now that can encompass all of our patients and really truly making and putting together a true wellness plan, and that's been a struggle for us to just, because we wanted to find the right plan that was going to fit in our practice, that was easily adaptable with our patients, and that we could make it sustainable with the things that we want to do after that as well.
And you have the resources to the computer system, which is nice, so we don't have to receive a phone call every day. You still have the access weekly. You can go on the resource of the computer. And so there is a larger network of stuff that's out there that helps us to help take care of you. So that's
there is a component, though, in the person-to-person versus the
Without question.
Because, again, I've done the online stuff, and that, it only can go so far.
Right, but if you go online, you see this and listen to the questions, now you have someone else to ask us. Yeah. We're all going to be involved, actually.
Right.
Yeah. So it's...
The other thing, the video that you're talking about, I think for me, my hesitation on saying, yeah, it's okay, because I don't want to be the one sitting there telling you how much weight I lost. I want to tell you how long I've kept it off.
Yep.
I want to tell you what the resources of working with a medical team is versus...
You'll be our first testimonial.
Because that's
you just sign yourself up.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I came, is because I want the longevity. I'm tired of being embarrassed that I gained 90 pounds back in the last few years.
Yep. And we hear the frustration.
The emotion's there.
Yeah, we hear the frustration.
It's hard because I was 225, lost down to 150, had kids, and am struggling to this day to get those 10 pounds with each one, plus going through menopause and all that other fun hormonal stuff. So I'm there with you. I have 90 pounds to lose. I know where I want to be, but I struggle daily.
Well, I don't even want to talk about the scale. I want to talk in body fat percentage.
Yep.
I don't care what I weigh. It doesn't matter. I want my body fat to go down, and I did that. I was almost at 25, and then that's when the support just wasn't there, and all of a sudden it went back up.
And that's where the individual nature comes into. So if you're almost there, there are some people, because of the drive of these hormones in our body, that we're not going to be able to change that internal genetic aspects. You lose more weight, you might just stimulate the hormones to become more hungry.
Well, but that's what
And
it was. Is I was told
therefore,
not to lose any more weight. That I was looking sickly. I'm
well,
like, my body weight isn't.
That's another kind of concern about. I mean, actually, I just went to this conference this past weekend, and the presenters and the doctors were kind of joking about, oh, the Ozempic look. You know, they were actually utilizing that term, well, you Ozempic face.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is the doctors, like, you know, jokingly saying things that are not really nice. The concept is because a lot of people get this, oh, Susan must be, you know, she must have cancer. Look at her, she lost this weight. You know, so that is not what we're really looking for. The concept is really in the relation to how to get to that sustainability. We may need to recognize that the goal may be 5 more pounds, but we're going to say, you know, we don't need to go, not because of the way you look, is because the drive from the hunger stimulation is just wanting you to go back here because that's where your body feels most comfortable. And that's what, again, in the kind of vernacular of the way the groups look at an obesity components of things, you're at your happy weight. You're healthy, but you may then be happy at 5 pounds over. That's fine. If your goal is to be 25 pounds less than that, then I step in or someone say, you know, really smart to do. That's not healthy any longer.
I think that's
not sustainable.
And not sustainable because
again, I think that's why I want to focus on the body fat part of it,
correct.
not the number on the scale.
You focus on the body fat, then your body turns into a furnace. You burn fat more efficiently, and you're healthier.
And we're going to use that to kind of set your goals.
So
we're
can
going
I
to try to have a goal
refuse in the
for you.
video to tell people how much pounds I lost and only tell them how much body fat? Can I refuse to tell them pounds and only tell them?
You can tell whatever you exactly, however you feel.
I feel the same way. This is the first scale that I bought ever because I've always been. I don't want to know what I weigh. Even when I was pregnant, I didn't want to. I don't want to know. You know, I just want to. I want to feel good in my clothes. You know, and that's kind of what I've gone by this whole time. I just bought this scale so that I could track it, so that I could talk to you guys.
I mean,
that's why we want to count calories.
But we bought one for that reason because my husband. I actually found an online program and was able to get my husband to do it with me. And we both did incredible, and people were asking us, and you know, the pyramid happened. And then all of a sudden, I won't get into details publicly, but we both had some health issues, and all of a sudden it was just like, screw this, you know, and we kind of took off and did like everybody else.
But that's why we don't want to count calories. We don't want to necessarily you know, kind of enter your data and all stuff.
I love that I can have fruit. That's going to be awesome.
Huge. Yeah, that was the big game changer too, and it's sustainable.
I know. I literally have like a giant drawer like dedicated to cheese at my house. Like I love cheese. But once you get to that point, then you can start to incorporate things in and see how your body, you know, responds.
Unless I tell you otherwise.
And I don't even I don't even miss it right now. You know?
I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine.
There's a hormone in cheese, just to kind of give you some background, that actually turns into a chemical that looks like morphine. The morphine component of cheese that stimulates. I have a son with
autism that we took dairy out of it and gluten out of his diet for that reason.
It actually stimulates the brain centers exactly like morphine. And so some people have an addiction. My father is one that he can't pass a cheese tray without grabbing it. But that's just one of many, again, food products that are potentially problematic for that individual. Doesn't mean for everybody, but those are the type of things we need to look at.
No, I'm just fussy on your foods.
I was just going to ask the same question.
And I don't like a lot of vegetables.
I found that my taste buds changed, and I actually was overeating, like broccoli. Go figure.
Yeah, there are strategies to incorporate, you know, different vegetables. So our 13-year-old daughter is the same way too. So the smoothie comes in very handy with that, to sneak in some spinach and some kale to just make sure that you're getting the appropriate nutrients to go along with that. You'd be surprised at some of the things that you can do. You know, I'm very close with Stephanie, my wife's sister, Kelly, and this is probably where my daughter gets it from. She just started the plan this week. She's ridiculously fussy about certain foods and all, and she's had the ability to go through and modify, and even my wife was super impressed that she was able to do it. And we kind of joke, like she said, you know, if you can get Kelly to do this, you can get any one of your patients or any participant to get through it as well. So it's definitely, it's easier than you think. And I think, like Stephanie attested to, just as you go through it, and when your body starts to change and you start to feel better, that all of a sudden turns into an addiction. You get addicted to feeling healthy. And once that happens, there's no stopping you.
I just was curious, Steph, when you started doing the plan, did you find like the first week that you almost had like flu-like symptoms and stuff?
No, I kind of decided one day, I'm like, I'm going to start it today. And then I was like, I don't have the right foods in my house to start it today. So I went shopping and I
did get a photograph of the grocery cart.
Yeah, right? I know, yeah. I'm very self-motivated. So I get excited about like little things like buying all this healthy food at the grocery store. I basically stick to the same things. Like I have the same thing for breakfast in the morning. Sometimes I switch the veggies around. And I try different spices too. Like I like the garlic salt with some parsley, you know, put that on some spinach, and it just kind of like enhances or like, you know, jazzes up the flavor. You kind of get more creative with your spice cabinet. Because I have a giant spice cabinet that I, you know, usually use when I'm making chili. I don't know what all those other, maybe I bought it for a recipe, but I'm kind of like incorporating that into some of my meals too. So I typically in the morning I'll have like a couple eggs over, either put them over some spinach or over like some peppers, just sauteed in a pan, and then like usually I'm full and I take my cup of fruit and I save that kind of as like a mid-morning snack. You do have a shake that's involved, and I'm totally that person. I want to eat. I want to eat. I like to eat. I'm a foodie. I don't want to be drinking my meals, yeah. But these shakes are delicious, and the like what you put into them is what you get out of them. So I have the vanilla shake, and I bought some like cacao, so I can make it into a chocolate shake if I want, or I can keep it a vanilla shake. And I have my berries, my frozen berries. And I'll just throw some strawberries in there, scoop of the protein, and that sustains me. And I feel and what I'll do is I'll eat my veggies, like I'll cut up some peppers, and that'll be that crunch that I need, you know, because I like that crunch. You know,
and the shake too. The shake is only during the detox, so it's just a week.
It's only during the detox, but I still do it because
a lot of people find it convenient. Like I like the convenience. We're up so early in the morning. A shake is just easy for me to grab when I'm in the car heading to work.
I was a little concerned when you said no coffee. I've done no coffee before.
No, you can have coffee.
You can have coffee.
Okay.
You can have coffee. There's
because I put my shakes inside my coffee. That's my breakfast is my shake is inside my coffee.
Yeah, you can have a cup of coffee, and you can use is it the stevia? Stevia liquid sweetener.
And I'll try to still get you away from
1 to 2 drops of that because it's very.
So I will still in the long term, the long aspects, to try to get people away from stevia.
I was just going to ask.
Any sugar substitute will raise insulin resistance in the long term. A short term, we're losing weight. We want to get it palatable. We want to make it chewier.
The whole goal is to make sure
I really like you personalizing it, and I really like that you're going to look into those things, you know, to help break some of those habits. Because I've created some habits trying to do stuff on my own just to make life sustainable.
It's a huge advantage having a medical doctor and a nurse involved in the program, because it's that medical oversight. Because things pop up.
If you're not diabetic and if you don't have insulin resistance, and the only way you can have a cup of coffee is put a little stevia in it.
Yeah. I don't put sweetener, but
that's
my
a trade-off.
protein powder has whatever it has in it.
Exactly. So that's how you individualize it, because like my wife can't drink coffee unless she puts her sugar in. So I'm trying to convert her to get, I can drink my coffee black. Okay. Some people just say, I'm not going to drink coffee anymore.
Right, I won't drink it
because they can't tolerate it without something else in it. But if that's the only trouble for that person, and you're still at your goal weight and you're still kind of doing the other things, then we're okay. Because those are the individualizations to it. Early, we want to make sure you restrict it. We want to make sure you're on target. We want to make sure you're losing the weight, and then the long term we adapt and then you go back to your things that you like to add back in, because it's really. And if you gain 5 more pounds back, it's like, I'm good, because this is now the satisfaction of having my coffee with a little sugar in it, or a sugar substitute. That's why.